When you were born, your dad was sure that you were going to be a boy. He was so sure that he even worked out a deal with your mom. He told her, if the baby is a boy and it's going to be, I'm going to name him John. And if this baby is a girl and it's not, then you can pick out a name. But you don't need to because the baby is a boy. Well, and then you were born, a girl. And boy was your dad surprised, no pun intended. But he wasn't disappointed because he took one look at you and fell in love. Remember that deal your dad made with your mom? Guess you got to pick your name. It wasn't exactly easy for your mom to pick it. She began asking herself, what should I call her? She almost named you Indentina, which means moving slowly, but your mom decided against it. Your name was almost Allegro, which means fast, but your mom didn't want you to be known as fast. So your mother decided with a name that meant with sweetness. Your great-grandfather and great-grandmother were part Italian, which is where your name came from. Your family had quite a few very light-skinned people, and the women all had long, straight black or brown hair. You had long hair until you went to college and decided you wanted a new look, so you cut your hair. This upset your dad, and he asked angrily, you did that? Even though he was mad at first, he eventually got over it. Your parents were both teachers who taught at the same school and had a very popular romance, and were always the talk of the town. Whenever they were seen together, people would whisper, look at them, aren't they a cute couple? Your dad was a coach and a Presbyterian minister. Good thing he was Presbyterian instead of Southern Baptist minister, because Presbyterian ministers actually allowed their children to dance. You definitely took advantage of that privilege whenever you could. Your dad was also known in the family for being wise and being a shoulder to cry on. A shoulder he used a lot, remember? You can still hear him say, come here, tell me what's wrong. Your mother was beautiful and stylish, and did you know she even taught the famous baseball player Willie Mays? She was very loving and giving, and even helped raise her younger siblings, Alto and G. Your granddaddy was very influential in your life as well. He valued education greatly. As an only child, your family was very close. Your favorite TV show was Mickey Mouse Club, and whenever this show came on, the whole family would get around and sing the M-I-C-K-E-Y song, and it became a ritual. Seems kind of corny. I bet you don't remember that, but the first 3 years of your life, you and your parents lived in the back of your dad's Presbyterian church. Your family spent a lot of time thinking about the big news events of your day. For some reason, the Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962 was one of your most vivid childhood memories. I guess it was because your family was literally glued to the TV every day during the 13-day standoff between the U.S. and Soviet Union over the placement of Soviet missiles in Cuba. Even though you were very interested in politics, you still did things a normal kid did, like to learn to play piano and learn to ice skate. You especially wanted to be a concert pianist and dreamed of it often. As a matter of fact, you loved all the composers like Bach and Beethoven, but your favorite was Mozart. You might be embarrassed to be reminded of this, but you even had a secret crush on him. You were also very smart and skipped from 6th grade to 8th grade. You were so advanced that you even learned to drive at the age of 11, which was probably illegal. Despite all of your accomplishments, unfortunately, you did not learn to do something simple as learn to swim until you were 25 due to the Bull Connor and segregation laws. Colors were not allowed to swim in community pools. Though you were only 13 years old, in 1968 you became very interested in political affairs after learning of the Martin Luther King's death. That was the year that changed everything for you. You started to even care what happened in Vietnam, and you fell in love with the Kennedys, and you mourned the loss of Bobby Kennedy when he died. When you were entering high school, your family moved to Denver, and you got really serious about ice skating and piano. You were so excited, but your parents had trouble finding a suitable school for you, and you had to start school late. And you went from an all-black school in Alabama to a school with only 3 black girls out of 70 students. It was even possible to spend an entire day on the city streets and never see another black person. You can probably still see yourself saying, I'm definitely not in Alabama anymore. The move soon became very difficult when your mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1970. Your dad prayed to God for her to live. His prayers were answered, and your mother lived to help raise you. When you were about to start your senior year of high school, your dad arranged for you to skip senior year and start college early and focus on your piano. You did not like this because you felt that he was trying to trap you and keep you in Denver, saying, you'll love it having success to conservatory anytime you want. You did go to Denver University as your father planned, but soon changed your mind about the piano and changed your major. You tried to major in English and political science with a focus on state and local government, but eventually settled on international politics. When you told your parents, they were very happy. You did continue to study the piano and skating, but had to quit both when you had a cyst removed from your wrist and also gained 30 pounds due to the lack of exercise. So much for your dream, huh? Well, this gave you more time to focus on your studies. Since you started your political science degree late, after changing majors a couple of times, you decided it would be best to go to graduate school to learn more about your chosen area of the Soviet Union. Your parents wanted to remain at Denver U, but instead chose to go and obtain a master's degree at Notre Dame and couldn't find a job in your field, so ironically you had to become a piano teacher. In the meantime, you obtained a PhD in international studies from Denver U. You were then hired by Stanford University as a political science professor. Finally, a job in politics. Sort of. By this time, you could speak several languages, and your favorite was Russian, which you were fluent in, especially since you had earned a degree in it. You also became lecturing as an expert of the Soviet Union. This got you noticed by the President George H.W. Bush, as he quoted saying, "I am captivated by her lectures," and he wanted you to serve as his advisor on Soviet issues. You continued to work at Stanford while serving in the many political roles of the White House, including an advisor of foreign policy. You were eventually noticed by another president, and this time it was George W. Bush, who appointed you as Secretary of State. You made history for being the first black female, like yourself, to hold the position. In case you haven't guessed, you are Condoleeza Rice.